Greetings, Lady Shepsa Jones here from Let Go, Let Goddess, sacred sexuality healer, coach, and author, coming to bring you my Goddess Love Letter for the week. So first, I want to acknowledge that I haven't done these Goddess Love Letters in several months because unfortunately in February, very shortly after my last Goddess Love Letter, my father got very ill and then several weeks after passed away at the end of March. So I've taken some time to myself to help to heal and integrate that experience. It was definitely a lot. That'll most likely be another Goddess Love Letter that I'll do about grieving. And then also in April, I had my first retreat in several years where I took Women in My Queen program to Ghana, West Africa. So that was a really amazing experience. And I'll do some future videos about Ghana and about grieving pretty soon. But I wanted to restart this weekly Goddess Love Letter series this week with the topic, Goddess, I love you. And I want you to choose yourself. I want you to choose yourself, AKA why men hate Lori Harvey. So I wanted to talk about that this week because that was a real hot topic the last couple of weeks. Lori Harvey breaking up with Michael B. Jordan. And normally I am not one to even give a flip about celebrity relationships. Like I really don't care. And also we don't know really what goes on in anybody's relationship, and people come together and break up all the time. But I thought that the reaction, particularly from men, about the breakup and people kind of insinuating that Lori Harvey didn't want to be tied down and Michael B. Jordan was ready to make it serious, and all the ways that men like to disrespect and talk bad about Lori Harvey. So it made me think about how she's only 25 years old and how when I was 25, I was married and I had my first child. And I thought about also how much I didn't know at 25. I thought about how naive I was. I thought about how I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do, right? Which is go to school, get married, get a degree, get a good job, and have a kid. And I did it. And I did it at 25. And I was unhappy and I was miserable. And it made me actually really happy, whatever, reason that Lori Harvey had and whatever the breakup was, but really happy that she was choosing herself, if that's what happened, because that's, of course, we don't really know, right? But her ability to be able to choose and to navigate relationships and say, yes, I want this, no, I don't want this, right? And to put herself first. And that's something that I want all women to do. So for this Goddess Love Letter, I'm going to offer 3 questions on how you can navigate whether or not you are choosing yourself first. So the first question, am I doing what society / my family want me to do, or what I want to do? All right. And this is a great question. Am I doing what society says I should do? Lori Harvey, Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is a successful, handsome, like so many women would love to be with him, actor. And he chose Lori Harvey and seemed like he was totally infatuated and in love with her. And then she chose herself. Society says, girl, you should have went with Michael B. Jordan, right? You should have married him and had his babies and, all these things. Well, she just wants to move to the next man. She's a hoe and slut and all these other things. So what is society saying about this, right? Woman, I should do this because I'm a woman, whatever the choice could be. The choice could be to stay in a relationship or to not stay in a relationship. The choice could be to pursue a certain career. The choice could be to wear your hair a certain way, to dress a certain way. There's so many outside influences that dictate to us, especially as women, that we should be a certain way, act a certain way, wear our hair a certain way, dress a certain way. And most of it deals with actually pleasing the gaze of men. So I want you, whatever the choice is that you are presented with, am I doing what I want to do, or what my family and society says I should do. When I was 25, I did what society said I should do, which is be married and have a child. Yet I did not know myself. And I had to go through that experience of being unhappy, being married, having a child in order to really find myself. I had to lose myself in order to find myself. So sometimes that's part of the journey, but if we can avoid, certain experiences and make better choices, our life can improve greatly. Number two, second question to ask when you're trying to choose yourself first, what am I really wanting in this situation? Okay, so you can even imagine that you are in a bubble. You are in a bubble, empty space, and really imagine what it is that you want. What would that look like? I like to ask my clients, if you had a magic wand and you could wave that magic wand right now, what would you want? And normally what we say we want, or when we're trying to imagine, what comes up is our limiting beliefs, right? Our limiting beliefs stop us and they say, it's too late. All right, it's too late for me to pursue that career, to start my own business. It's too late for me to heal from that trauma. It's too late for me to have that beautiful relationship and partnership, right? We go through so many hidden limiting beliefs come up in our consciousness that tell us why it won't work and why we can't have what we want. So we need to create a space where we can actually give ourselves permission to imagine and to envision what we actually really want and what does it look like, and put those limiting beliefs to the side. You may even want to make a list. Sometimes if I notice limiting beliefs projecting themselves in my consciousness, I'll actually make a list of what those beliefs are, and you can burn that list, right? And sometimes just writing them down, you become conscious of them, so that when they come up again, you can stop yourself, you can arrest that belief. So I'll give you this little tip that I started doing when a limiting beliefs comes up in my consciousness. Like I'd be like, hush girl, like, there's a voice that comes up and like, oh, you can't do that, don't say that, or it's too late for that, I just say, girl, hush. Girl, hush. So I'm gonna give y'all permission to use that. Girl, hush, when that voice comes out, right? That negative Nancy, I'm gonna give her another name. I don't know. I'm doubting Denise or like whatever. All right, when that voice comes up, be like, girl, hush. In the same way, if you can imagine you're becoming your own best girlfriend, your own best hype woman that's encouraging you to do the things that you really want to do. If your best friend was saying all these negative things about herself and all these limiting beliefs were coming up, you'd be like, girl, hush, okay? Like, we're not even going there, girl, hush. So that's a tip you can do when those limiting beliefs come up, and then take that time to actually think about what is it do I actually really want, okay? And the last question that you can ask yourself when you are trying to choose yourself first, am I following my pussy wishing or following fear? All right, am I following my pussy wishing or following fear? So I'm gonna break down what pussy wishing is. I believe I might have talked about it in a previous video. But for me, pussy wishing is a term that I created, right? Pussy plus intuition. So our pussy is that part of us that represents our feminine power, our raw power, that primal inner knowing, right? And that how that connects to our intuition. So when something is arousing us and we feel excited about it, it makes us wet, right? It makes us aroused. That's our pussy wishing, telling us, yes, this thing is good for me. All right. And I'm not talking about making choices that, come from necessarily traumas and things like that. I'm talking about like real authentic, like I'm excited as fuck to do this, right? Like it makes me excited to take this trip, to take this solo trip to Costa Rica or Jamaica, or it makes me excited and wet to go back to school, makes me excited to go out on a date with this handsome man, right? Makes me excited to go to the park and sit with a good book, whatever it is. You should allow that feeling of excitement, that feeling of your pussy wishing being aroused to be your guide, right? And if it's making you feel dried up, if it's making you feel flat, disconnected, and just the idea of doing it, puts a frown on your face, then don't do it. All right. So you're making a choice from your pussy wishing or fear. Sometimes we make choices from fear again because we hear those negative voices. We hear society coming and telling us we should do X, Y, and Z. Or if you don't do it now, then it's going to be too late. Look how old you are. Look at the state of the world. Look at the state of Black women. Right? There was that popular, I'm not even going to say his name, relationship coach that would say that if a woman, particularly a Black woman, wasn't married by a certain age, that she was a leftover. It's just so terrible. And that comment definitely came, or the retribution for that comment kind of came full circle. But anyway, just this whole idea that society says it's too late, you're left over, you can't do this, nobody wants you, right? All of that is absolutely BS. So we need to not make choices out of fear. We have to not allow our fear to push us and to motivate us to choose something that is not in alignment with our highest good. So this is where stopping, meditating, and actually listening to our inner voice, slowing down and getting quiet enough to be able to listen to our pussy wishing actually helps us to make the choice. And that choice should always be to choose yourself first. Okay, so Goddess, I love you. I hope you take in these tips. I'm gonna go through them again. So here are some questions to ask when you're trying to choose yourself first. Am I doing what I want to do, or am I doing what my family and society says I should do? Question number 2, what do I really want in this situation? Put those limiting beliefs aside, cast them aside, be like, girl, hush, and be like, what do I actually really want in this situation? And question number 3, am I following my pussy wishing or fear? Does this choice that I have excite me, make me wet, make me aroused? Or am I doing it because I feel motivated by fear that I'm going to be too late, or I'm too old, or I need to choose that because that's the best I can get, all these other things. All right. So Goddess, I love you. And I hope that this week you will choose yourself first. Goddess blessings, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.